Hey up, I assume you've seen the latest PSYOP coming out of Australia. Sorry, that's my cynical mind. I mean the latest feel-good, wonderful news story. I have got to a point where I just don't believe anything I see in the news. As soon as I saw this interview, I was just like, that's fake. That didn't happen. But maybe I'm a cynic. Maybe I've got to a point where, basically everything David Icke said 20 years ago has come true. Everything I've ever been told by the media, school, my parents, because they were brainwashed by the two previous things I mentioned, has been a lie, or I suppose in the case of my parents, an untruth. So I can't watch anything now and believe it's true. But basically, yeah, we've got this feel-good story that this family gets stuck on a canoe, I think it is, or a raft. They're miles out of sea. It's not looking good for them. And the son, who's, I don't know, 12, 13, something like that, swims 4 kilometers to the shore and saves the life of his family. We'll get into the whole fakeness of it in a minute, but the most interesting part is there is a slip-up in this interview. I mean, I assume it's a slip-up. Maybe the whole point of it is so people create videos like this and more division occurs, but then I don't think it's people making videos like this. I think it's when you create a multicultural society, it's inevitable that it will be divided. Just look at any multicultural society of the past. I mean, we have Myanmar, Burma right now. I watched a video on that last night, and again, the whole reason that is falling apart is because there's lots of different ethnicities that speak different languages, have different religions, and hate each other. Yugoslavia. Every time we've ever seen an example of lots of ethnicities with lots of different religions in one place, it falls apart because they don't get on. So of course I'm talking about this line mid-interview.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. And then finally I just made it to shore, and I hit the bottom of the beach and I just collapsed. And then after that I had to sprint 2 kilometers to go get to the phone. And then when I got to the phone, there was a lot of foreign people on the beach, so I couldn't really get much help. And so
Absolutely disgusting, isn't it? It's absolutely disgusting. So let's just pretend this happened and it's true. Can you imagine swimming 4 kilometers? And his whole thing, oh yeah, that's the other element of a psyop. It's a bit of a Jesus psyop. Like, we seem to have that going on quite a lot at the moment. Russell Brand, all these people suddenly trying to get you to be Catholic, and I know, obviously I know nothing. I'm just a mere mortal like the rest of you, or whatever the fuck we are. Just an electrical impulse floating through infinity, it seems. But yeah, I question this whole sudden push towards Christianity and religion, and is that just another way of controlling people? Is that just another psyop? It seems to be, to me. But maybe it is true. So yeah, there's a lot of the whole way back he's swimming and he's praying to Jesus, and he's praying to Jesus, I'll get baptized if me and my family survive this. So there's a lot of that going on.
keep on swimming, just keep on swimming. I don't think it was actually me, it was God the whole time. I kept on praying, and I said to God, I'll get baptized, and all of that.
But anyway, just going back to, trying to take it on face value. You swim 4 kilometers, you're exhausted, you're absolutely relieved to get back to the shore of humanity right now. Can I get attention in time to save my family? And all you've got around you is Mohammeds and Ahmeds. People that if you go up to and ask them for help, they're more likely to grape you than they are to help you. But more likely than that situation, they're just not going to have a fucking clue. They're going to be fucking useless. You're going to go up to them and be like, my family are in the middle of the sea. They're on a canoe. They're 4 kilometers out there. And they're just going to be like, eh? Or, assault you. It's going to be one of the two things. Like, these are incredibly useless people with very low IQs. They can't even manage to keep their own streets clean in their own country. They can't build infrastructure. They can't create anything. They can't do anything. They can't help anyone. They can't help themselves. So he gets to the beach and he has to run another 2 kilometres apparently. I mean, well, it was just 2 kilometres of migrants. I mean, again, it doesn't really make sense, does it? You'd think there'd be a cafe within fairly close vicinity, but I mean, maybe they're all owned by migrants now. I mean, it is a complete takeover, so who knows? But yeah, I just found that part of the story quite interesting, and just sickening to be honest. You know, like when I was his age, so you know, we're going back 20 years more. If I'd have been in that situation and I'd have got to the beach, like, I just know that I'd have been surrounded by my own people who would have been like, oh my god, a child has just arrived on the beach, what the fuck, they'd have ran over to me, how can we help you, what's going on? The fact that he had to go through all that and then just be surrounded by a load of fucking Ahmeds who won't have even noticed that this child was swimming in. I mean, they may well have noticed a child, to be fair, let's be honest, they'll have noticed a child, but there won't have been help going through their mind. So I'm not sure if it was just a little slip, because it is just that one line, the rest of it is all just Jesus and here's a news story, so you forget about, you know, how much we're persecuting you, because Australia isn't far behind the UK in terms of persecuting its own people. Here's a fantastic example of a Chinese migrant that, oh God, what happened? I can't remember, but he basically decided that he hated white people and threw a hot coffee over a baby, scolded the baby. Because the authorities were scared of, you know, just like in England, they don't release any identifiable information. They don't want to admit and make it clear the obvious truth that, you know, migrants commit way more crime and destroy societies. So whenever it's a migrant crime, just like in the UK, it's a man. So they didn't release his identity. He managed to get back to China because no one knew who he was. Right, I've just checked. So a Chinese guy got told that he had to leave Australia, decided that it was the fault of all white people, scolded a baby with hot coffee. Right wing, normal people, leftists of the 90s, get wind of it, protest outside the Chinese embassy. One of the protesters calls the guy that burned the baby a name, and he gets done. Yet it appears that the Australian authorities specifically told the police to let this man leave. You know, don't stop him at the border, just let him leave. Yet if you say that's wrong and maybe call the guy a name who's just scolding a baby because it's white, you're the one that gets into trouble with the police. And it's just outrageous. Maybe it's to deflect from stuff like that. Maybe it's to deflect from the general tyranny, just a news story to distract everyone, especially at a time when we're not finding out. With most of us have known, well, most of us who are watching this video have known for a very long time that all of our politicians, all of our celebrities are what the Epstein file shows that they are. So at a time when all of that's coming out, maybe it's a bit of a distraction from that, I don't know, but then I think that's probably a distraction in itself, and probably a psyop in itself too. I need to do a video about it, but I think the files are just normalising it. You know, normalising what we've all known they get up to for so long. You know, like, they've been putting it in our faces for so long, and we've been able to do nothing about it. Now it's literally like, yep, we are doing this. And you're still not going to do anything about it. And we're not going to do anything about it. So now what? We can all just be in power and be nonces. And that will just be accepted. And soon we'll tell you that we're all lizards too. And there's nothing you'll be able to do about that either. Just normalising it. Just making you all know that you're the plebs. And you need to be in, what is it, District 13 or whatever it is in Hunger Games. You need to be in your district, in your 15-minute smart city. And just accept that we're PDF file lizards. Now people get really fucking, oh my god, you think I'm lizards? I don't think anything. Like, I mean, I've actually seen a lot of evidence, you know, eyes, tongues eating flies. Seen a lot of evidence that yes they are. But honestly, if you're at the point in 2026 where you're still being like, oh, do you believe that conspiracy? You know, if you're not open to all possibilities by now, then what the fuck are you watching this channel for? And honestly, man, I dread to think how many jabs you took, because it's astounding that in 2026 people are still even using the word conspiracy theory, or still in any way laughing at people who have been right all the way along. You know, like, how dare you? If you took the jab, how dare you question anyone or anything ever again? When you fell for the most obvious, you know, you had a year. You had a year of people like me going, don't take that. Here's some very clear research. Here's some very clear evidence that Pfizer don't give a fuck about people, have fucked loads of people over. Look at all these situations that have happened in Africa where they've had to pay millions of pounds compensation. Here's some more evidence that shows that COVID isn't even killing anyone, and it's just the same numbers as the flu, and for some reason the flu's disappeared. Oh, no, you didn't want to look at any of that, did you? You didn't want to look at any of that. You just wanted to call it a conspiracy theory. And then you failed the very basic intelligence test of 2021, and now you are, you know, 2 years away from turbo cancer, or days away. So, fuck off, basically. You're a fucking retard. And I feel for you. And for those that, you know, have realised the error of their ways, this is not directed at you. This is directed purely at people that are still trying to think that their opinion is valid, and are still trying to ridicule people that are showing them the truth. After, you know, they failed for the most basic, obvious fucking psyop I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it was just laughable. You know, I can understand people who believed in COVID for a little bit. But, you know, a year into it, you still didn't realise what was going on, to the point where you went and poisoned yourself? I mean, my God. Shut the fuck up. Oops, sorry, I'm obviously a little bit triggered. Somebody must have triggered me in the comment section. You fucking jabbed up buffoon. Try and get back to the interview. One last point that I noticed was this. It was when I saw this photo that I got full-on psyop vibes, you know, when it was like the media presentation of this story, and he's on crutches. Now maybe, you know, swimming 4 kilometers and running 2 kilometers away from Mohammedis is going to be tiring. I don't know, he's 13 years old. Why is he on crutches? I don't know, it all just looks a bit fake for me. It all just looks a bit like, look at this victim. You know, women who get swayed by emotion and have no logic whatsoever. Look at the emotion of this, rather than thinking logically about all the tyranny that's going on around you. Thank you for watching to the end. If you value this channel, please do support it with a like and a comment. I'm 100% shadow banned. I got an email from a really big supporter yesterday who doesn't have a YouTube account, and he just types in "Not Today Satan" to watch my videos every day. And he says for the last 2 weeks the channel doesn't come up, nothing comes up. I've been experiencing it myself on my other 2 channels. When I go on the homepage, I don't see any Not Today Satan videos. So yeah, it's really hard to get any traction with this channel, and therefore hard to find the motivation to keep creating videos for it when you get 1,500 views and you know that YouTube just isn't showing it to anyone. So if you could do your bit and try and help get around that by dropping a like, a hype and a comment, I'd really appreciate it. If you value this channel, please do help try and promote it, because at the end of the day, what you're doing by liking is you're saying other people should see this, and what I'm trying to do is get around people's cognitive dissonances, like, you know, racism being the best example, like the fact that we have a whole society that are just silenced by a word, by a name. Oh, you're racist, you know, and just trying to normalize, you know, no, discernment is okay. It's okay to have common sense boundaries around the type of person you want to grow up around, you want your children to grow up around, and it's okay to notice patterns and to notice differences in people. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to normalize all that. So if you think that's important, please help by liking, sharing, hyping, commenting, all the good stuff. Big love.